That's $20 billion of costly new spending. This update can be summed up very simply. Prices up, rent up, debt up, taxes up, time's up. Common sense conservatives will vote non-confidence on this disgusting scandal. Well, a year ago, this finance minister told the House she'd have the budget balanced by the year 2028. In that time, she has announced $100 billion of additional debt above and beyond having doubled that debt in the first place. This debt is already being paid by Canadians with the worst inflation in 40 years, with interest rates that risk a mortgage meltdown on the $900 billion of mortgages that will renew over the next 3 years. That's 2/3 of mortgages, with the IMF saying that of all 40 OECD countries, Canada is the most at risk of a mortgage crisis. And now, her solution, another $20 billion of inflationary spending. This after the Governor of the Bank of Canada has said that deficits are adding 2 full percentage points to mortgage rates on the backs of Canadians.
What the Liberal government has announced is not a budget, obviously. It's not even a mini budget. It is a micro budget. It does not meet the urgency of what Canadians are going through. It doesn't really meet their needs. And it's another example where Canadians are feeling really disappointed about the Liberals not meeting the urgency of what they're going through. And most of the money that they're promising is delayed for off into the future. And this is the 23rd month that food inflation has outpaced general inflation. And so now finally we've been able to force this government to act. So there is now some clear commitments to take on corporate greed, which is the major driver of the cost of food going up. And to bring down food prices, we've been able to push this government to finally commit to some strong action on strengthening our laws, strengthening penalties, taking on price gouging and price fixing, what we've been calling for a while. So we finally got the government to act on that. But again, after 23 months of delay.
A lot. I mean, Greens always applaud recycling, but there's a lot in this budget that is recycled, this fall economic statement, recycled from previous announcements. We were looking and expecting to see that there would be a clarity around what surplus federal lands and surplus federal buildings could be converted to housing. This is, again, a re-announcement, $200 million that was already announced. It's in the fall economic statement. I pressed finance officials in the lockup. Do you at least now know how much surplus federal land there is? How many surplus federal buildings there are to be converted to housing? They don't have answers for that yet either. Again, a re-announcement for the co-op housing model, for co-op housing rentals. I thought I was finally going to read that there was a program for school lunches and school breakfasts, but nothing. So once again, kids in Canada have a hard time learning when they go to school with empty stomachs, and when they get there, there are no breakfast, snacks, or anything available for them to help them learn. If you're looking at ways to make it more livable for families that are struggling, that are going to food banks, provide kids a decent school lunch, a decent breakfast when they show up. I'm very disappointed that wasn't in the fall economic statement. I expected to see it.